Hello and welcome again, ladies and gents, to Division 2 of the South American DPC. My name is DKTruman. Quickly scooting over right there on your screen is Bowie for another evening. It's been a while since we casted together, my friend.
Oh yeah, dude. It's been a while, but today we actually have one of the best games of Division 2, at least so far, right? Two of the top scoring teams right now, which a lot of people maybe weren't expecting. You know, Ravens actually did really well in the last DPC, although they did change a couple of players. Dreamers, they just look solid. I think all of the games that I saw from them were pretty good, but I don't know. I feel like we might see a switch in terms of the placings right now. Obviously, Curitiba, they are ahead technically because they have more games, but they didn't play Dreamers yet, right? I think they played Ravens, if I am not mistaken. They
Curitiba?
actually didn't play either of
Yeah.
them. They played G Pride, Mad Kings, and Balrogs. Okay.
Yep. I mean, it's definitely an interesting affair. Both these teams have not dropped a single map yet. Also, you know, maybe I'm still every single time I'm gonna say it. Maybe this will be the first time where we get to see a series that actually goes to 3 maps, because we've had 11 games so far in Division 2, and all of them have been 2-0s. So yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Oh my
that's a very
lord.
strange statistic, right?
Wow. Yeah, that's not like Division 2 at all. Like usually Division 2 is like I guess there were upsets, right? But there were not close upsets. They were just upsets to whatever side you won. It's kind of crazy really that there was no 2-1s whatsoever. But yeah, I agree that this might be one of those series where we actually see some competitiveness going. And I just, I kind of love it, even though I'm Brazilian and super biased and I want, Curitiba and Oping to do really well. When you look at some of the players in these teams, like a lot of them are pretty unknown or were forgotten for a long time. I think Ben Jazz was like highly regarded as one of the best players in South America maybe 5 years ago. He's definitely been in the limelight for a while. Now his team is doing well again. When we look at Dreamers, maybe they don't have like any of those sorts of names, but they have these guys that have been grinding for a long time. Hook, he played, I think, a little bit of Division 1, a lot of Division 2, has been grinding for a while. I think Miggy and Lisex the same. So it's nice to see these up and coming players starting to get actually a team that clicks, right?
Yeah, that's actually kind of the more important factor that you brushed upon. The Dreamer side of things, I personally, I'm just infatuated with their supportive trio. Lisex, Dark Demon, and Chan, all three came over from Omega Gaming. Last season they were already very strong, but those three really play absolutely perfect together. Lisex is a beast on the off lane. Dark Demon supports him with like the Marana. That is very nasty and roaming, and Chan's always a very safe bane picker in that regard. But they are taking on the team that is slightly ahead of them, but that's only because they have played more. So this really is going to be a test to see which of these two teams is going to be the superior one. And honestly, I have no idea where this could end, because both these teams look absolutely insane. Not a Brazilian among them. That might be the reason why they're at the top, of course. Sorry. Curitiba.
No, I mean, I agree. And also, I think it's worth mentioning the teams that each of these teams played. When you look at Dreamers, they played bottom of the barrel. They actually played Borgs and Noping. So, they're 2-0, but how much that counts, right? When you compare Ravens that actually played against G Pride, South Team, and like those two teams are kind of more in the middle of the pack. So you could argue that those wins are worth a little bit more than the wins that Dreamers have. So I feel like I still actually value Ravens a little bit more in this series, but they are the best teams so far, so it should be entertaining for sure.
It must hurt to say the bottom of the barrel and then in one fell breath say no ping.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I mean, they did stop a player though. I guess that's one thing we didn't talk, and obviously it's not going to be relevant next series. Brax is playing in place of Luis right now.
Oh yeah, that is actually
Yeah.
Brax. I mean, I almost forgot that player still existed. Has been
Hmm.
tossed around for many years, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what that match will entail. Because of course, Luis definitely struggled. all 4 games that
Yeah.
I've seen him play, really struggled. I remember his game, I think it was against South Team, where Noping got destroyed by Epulze. I think he ended the laning stage 0-7 on a Bat Rider versus a Epulze lane, which was sad.
Yeah.
The fun part about that match was, of course, that the 5 position of South Team is also called Louis, so you had a Louis versus Louis matchup the entire time. But regardless, Noping will be playing up against Balrogs afterwards. We'll talk a little bit more in detail about that match, because that is actually the battle of the bottom. Now we've got the battle of the top, 2 teams that are undefeated.
True.
And then it's going to be the battle of the teams that have not won a single game. So it really is switching each other up completely today. I do hope that it's not going to be, the first game going to have a massive amount of great skill, and then the second one, a very big disappointment.
No, I actually feel like this might be the day where we get 6 games. It has the highest potential of 6 games, because we do have the teams that are relatively close skill-wise, right? So that's going to be entertaining. Obviously, you could say that maybe this series is going to be a little bit more high-skilled, but sometimes less skill is also entertaining, dude. Have you seen Jenkins 1K MMR, Herald reviews?
Oh, yeah, I love the ones where it's like 10 MMR Herald reviews.
Yeah.
Like, how does this last for 75 minutes?
By the way, I think we had a lobby problem, because I'm kicked out of the whole thing right now.
Oops. I did not read that, because of course I was looking at our beautiful faces, so quickly gonna rejoin the lobby. It is slightly delayed, but to be fair, it pretty much is every single time lately. A lot of the time, they are also obligated to have cameras on, so that they can, see if no one else is in the room and stuff, or whatnot during the game. And some teams tend to forget about that little aspect of the pre-game as well. But in this case, it seems just some lobby issues.
You never know where Boba is gonna appear, so always gotta be certain.
Yeah, he just pops up somewhere in South America. EG's winning anyway. Why do they need me right now?
Well, jokes aside, I think this series is gonna be pretty hype. I think, Division 2, a lot of people, I actually talk with a lot of people about this. I feel like Division 2 of South America is up there with the most competitive Division 2s in the world. I think if I would rate Division 2s, I think NA is probably the worst one.
100%.
No,
I mean, the best team there is Alphas, which is a South American team.
Exactly. So, and then I would say that, I would put these SA teams close to even the European ones. I
would say SA Division 2, in my eyes, is kind of tied with Eastern Europe Division 2 because of all the high play value names and all the big teams out there. I mean, there are some really good teams in Eastern Europe Division 2, because Western EU kind of has like, Enigma's gonna win, that's it, like done. So it's not really that interesting. China has IG right now, who are finally going ham again. Southeast Asia, I honest to God have not watched too much of this season. But yeah, SA definitely up there, and Eastern Europe is just action-packed with so many big orgs that it always is entertaining. But you know what is also entertaining? The fact that we finally have the game at the ready, so we're jumping in right away so we can start at the... What heroes will be picked up, and we started off with the Tiny. Also, one thing that I forgot to mention, but that's of course for the series later, Noping and Balrogs now have both replaced their offlaners.
Oh, who is replacing Balrogs now?
King Tekka. He got replaced.
He's back?
No, he got replaced, and like they played with Sole, they played with Hijack in the first 2 games. So they,
yeah.
So they have like someone else swapping in and out every once in a while.
Okay.
Oh no.
All right.
I see a problem here.
What is the problem?
Dreamers, aka Dark Demon, the Mirana. That is something that if you watch the previous series of the Dreamers, you should never have given them, because they absolutely dominated the Balrogs with it.
Okay. Well, they are playing against Ravens this time. I think Borogs might not be the the best
Division
best
1 team last
comparison.
season, but okay.
Yeah. I mean that team had its ups and downs for sure, but right now they're with all the standings and stuff.
Yeah.
Hard to. It's kind of crazy how one player can really like change the dynamic of a team, right?
Didn't a bunch
Like
of
if
players
we
join different
even if you
teams?
talk about Quincy with Fata joining.
Yeah, but Fada's a
in place.
beast. Like,
No, he is a beast.
that's all.
But SVG is also like a really good player, highly regarded, and the team looks night and day. Sure, it's been a while, but you get what I mean? Like, it's not only about the skill, but it's also about how the players kind of interact between themselves.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. It's not always that you need the ace player on your team. I mean,
Yeah.
in case of like the Ravens, they are very solid, very high performing. They're at the top of the group, Division 2, but they would not have the same star power as Mr. Jeans or Learstyle, which of course is in Coritiba and No Ping respectively, which arguably should be the two best mid laners in Division 2.
You know what? I think this is a huge misconception. Do you know who is the best mid player in Division 2? MMR wise, at least.
Oh yeah, but MMR is just a number.
Well, some people would disagree, but sure. Oh goddamn, the leaderboards are not working. Okay, I actually had to look the number, but it's okay. I'll answer that once the leaderboards are back.
5 seconds
Okay, soon
But
enough.
it's Jackie Tokyo from Mad Kings. He was ranked 10
Who?
very recently. Jackie Tokyo, the mid laner for Mad Kings.
Yeah, but
Like
Mad
it's
Kings
not even close.
is another team that is just baffling. Like the way they play, South Team and Mad Kings are such big surprises this season. It is actually baffling. Like Red Monster, amazing with the strats he plays with the Mad King side, like super high aggression early game. And South Team, they have Hermit, and that's kind of it. Like that's already enough to win every game they play.
Yeah, he's definitely a really good player and also a very unique player. It's kind of, I think it works in their advantage and disadvantage sometimes, because it feels like he's always, he reminds me of FCR. Like FCR is a really good player, but you need to have the team working around that player a lot of times because of the way he wants to his hero pool to look like. So I feel like that's why South Team lost a couple of his games, but I feel like they definitely have potential. Both teams that joined through open quals are really good.
Plus, Hermit, of course, also has a day job. You know what it is?
He is an engineer?
No, he works for the support section of Epulze.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
His boss is a Steenie.
Okay, that's awesome, actually. All right,
yeah.
Esports. That's how we grow esports. You get those players some esports jobs.
Yep, you grow into it, and then all of a sudden you're a player that every team has to ban either Visage, Beastmaster, or Lycan, and they can only ban 2. And he picks the 3rd, and he stomps with it every single time. But regardless, we have a different game right now. Dreamers versus Ravens, a Zeus pickup. Okay, that's a slightly different approach. I would assume mid Zeus. In this case, the Bane probably 5, Tiny.
I think it's a support Zeus, dude. I think
you
Zeus
believe?
mid is garbage. I think the only reason you pick Zeus here is if they Terrorblade or something, but I don't think they will because Zeus is picked. I feel like Zeus mid is so
more lately.
Yes, but as a support, like 90% of the time, I think this hero is a garbage mid hero.
No. I will not agree with that. I've seen a lot of Zeus mid in pro matches, including Division 2. Well, not a lot in Division 2, but a couple.
That's why they're in Division 2. They're picking mid. Dude, this hero is so bad in the mid lane. It's only, like, if you're Thompson, if you have a specialist, sure, go for it. I don't think you can just pick Zeus like you pick Void Spirit here. And maybe the Zeus job was to force this Void Spirit pick, and now they won't pick it. Like, look at the heroes they have. They have 0 saves on the side of Ravens, and you're gonna play Zeus against Mirana, DK Void Spirit, Dawnbreaker. It's so much gap close. He's just gonna die.
They have Bane Nightmare and Tiny Toss. What do you mean they don't have any save?
Oh yeah, the most reliable save, the tiny toss.
Tiny Airlines will save you every day of the week.
Dude, all they want is your money, alright? If you're not giving the airlines money, they don't give a hook about you.
That is very true. You have to buy your own peanuts these days on the plane. The pain.
Alright, so they banned the Weaver here, assuming that's the carry they want to play.
Dawnbreaker carry
And
might be the
Raven.
case.
What?
I've seen Dawnbreaker carries like a lot lately.
That is very true. It's especially good versus Razor in the safe lane if the Razor is off. Because you can deal with the static link.
It's definitely an interesting affair so far. They could go a lot of different routes on both these drafts. To be fair, like Razor can be safe, Razor can be off lane, Tiny can be mid, Zeus can be mid, Tiny can be 4, Zeus can be 4. And that's only on one side.
Both drafts actually have a lot of flags. You know, the only thing that is really set in stone is the Mirana DK being off lane and Voice Spirit being mid. But Dawnbreaker can be 5 or carry, as you said. So they have last pick on Dreamers. So overall, there's still a lot to unfold here in these two picks.
Quickly check out the statistics of the heroes that they tend to play. Okay, yeah, DK Mirana heavily picked on the Dreamer side. Not really a surprise if you've got, well, first of all, a massive Mirana player on your team. And second of all, well, DK is like the easiest setup with the Mirana. You get a blink, DK stun, arrow, someone's stunned for 8 seconds. Doesn't really matter what he does, he's dead.
Ooh. Okay, so it could be... Yeah, it could... I guess this Timber's off, right? So either Tiny or Razor carry with Zeus and Bane support.
Templar Assassin.
He's still on the Zeus. Let's see. What's it gonna be?
Dude. I would cut a finger if that Zeus is mid.
I have
just...
no idea because the names are not
There
correct.
we go. There we go.
Who's D?
D is their position 4, right? It's a Dark Demon.
But
Oh no,
no,
Dream. Okay,
Dark Demon is on the Dreamer side.
Dismar. They both have position 4s with D. There we go.
Okay.
It's Dismar. It's Dismar.
Okay.
Dude, just look at Dota 2 Pro Tracker, alright? The Zeus mid win rate, 44%. Zeus support win rate, 52%.
Yeah, but stats are just that, statistics. They don't tell you the entire story.
Yes, you're right. But Zeus mid is Garbaggio, and I will fight anyone that takes me on that, unless it's Thompson. If it's Thompson, you know, just go for it, man.
Or 9.
You're gifted.
But
Or
then,
9,
then again,
yeah,
9
sure.
can play literally anything mid, like Clockwork. Why not? I mean, I think you were the one that posted that on Twitter as well. With the first time, like he tried that in pubs, and then you were like, "Who's this? Who's that Pokemon?"
Actually, just look at this. I'll send you the link on Discord. So if you open the Dota 2 Pro Tracker list for Thompson, he played 60 heroes, 60 matches, and he has 8, 10, 12. He has like 25 heroes out of 60 matches, so he's playing like literally everything.
Yeah, but he has a 0% win rate with Pudge, so garbage.
Yeah, garbage. But 100% win rate with Zeus. Which is why all of these guys are trying to copy him, but they didn't figure it out. They're not there just yet.
Gotta get on that Zeus grind to even it out. Okay, it is actually fairly annoying that the names are not the correct ones. I guess that's because the lobby got remade, so there might not they might not have DPC lobbied it correctly. So that's a little bit unfortunate for the people watching. If there is a kill that happens, the correct name should be showing. So that should still be slightly resolved. But yeah, for the most part, fairly annoying at this stage.
Indeed.
Tiny mid, disgusting.
30 seconds and counting.
So it's going to be a Tiny mid versus a Voice Spirit. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think this is a good Tiny game, actually, if it's a core Tiny. I think you have the Mirana that you can burst. Even though she has leap, she can definitely die in the early levels. The TA struggles a lot if she just gets tossed. Not really a hero you want to rush BKB at all. Probably going to go Dragonlance Deso before you get the BKB. Lots of potential here for this Tiny to be very disruptive.
TA should have a pretty okay time. Of course, laning against the Timber Saw tends to be very problematic for most heroes, especially for a Dawnbreaker who's a strength hero, but you've got pretty decent kill threat. Sideblades, of course, is pure damage, so if you get hit a couple of times, it goes right through your reactive armor stacks, and you do melt in very quick succession.
I gotta say, this Heavenly Jump spell is so crazy. Like, I was watching... Did you watch TSM vs. EG yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, the Zeus, it's just... You just jump so far in the trees. It's crazy how impactful it feels sometimes.
And the massive 100 attack speed slow and 100% movement speed slow that you get for a brief amount of time. Very, very annoying.
No scaling on that whatsoever, right? 100% from level 1. That's so bonkers, actually. Yeah, they'll definitely nerf that. It's gonna be like, you know, maybe 40, 50, 60, 70 or something like that. There's no way 100% with that duration is gonna fly. Yeah.
Zeus is getting heavily bullied right now, but he does have the leap. Get out of harm's way for a little bit. Dawnbreaker, however, is not really gonna stop chasing. Considering he can't do much against the Timber Saw. Correct move. Though from these lanes, where do you think most of the action
Dark Demon is better thing.
Kill threat would come through? Nightmare too far away, doesn't have the cast range for it. So Dark Demon, yeah, you should be just fine.
Okay, yeah. They were level 2 before the Mirana, so I thought that maybe there was potential. But good body blocks coming from the DK. But yeah, we're asking about the lanes. I feel like... definitely side lanes, right? Mid, there's just gonna be a fun fast. Probably bottom. I feel like this Ben just Timber Saw is gonna kill Dawnbreaker eventually. The Zeus is gonna force some spells, and he's gonna get that double Whirling Death.
Well, Zeus is the courier snipe. Needs to be careful. Nope, he doesn't. Nice heavenly jump over the cliff. Honestly, that ice spell is ridiculous. Like, who cares about the old static field that he had? Because that one was just garbage for most of the game until you, of course, need it. No, you just pay $1,400 and you get a super static field.
Yeah, I mean, and as a support, that spell is 15 times better. It just, like, he can just trade really well. He can bait a lot of stuff. He can, you know, ward in places that the usual Zeus would take, you know, 2 times more time just to go up the stairs. And he has really good, like, move speed, armor, and damage. It ends up that this hero with that spell just becomes a really good support, actually.
Yeah, I should play it more. It's definitely an interesting hero, especially for enemy supports, because you've got the counter ward potential always behind you as well, which is fairly annoying to deal with at nearly every stage of the game.
One of the only, I mean, the only support that does that from level 1. I guess, you know, Clock does get the Rocket Flare talent eventually, but it does take quite a while.
Bounty.
Yeah, I mean, there's some heroes that you just don't like playing against. Nice toss back, Void Spirit taking some damage from the tower, some late gets him out of harm's way, but yeah, mid's a lot of harass coming out. Nice. Last hit so far for the Tiny, though. Need a bit more struggling for the Radiant side. Not a single first blood secured just yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a really good adaptation here from Ravens with that carry Razor. We just make sure that DK Mirana has almost no impact. Right now, this Mirana also cannot rotate mid because Void Spirit not really known for his burst damage. Even if they get like a Nader Remnant into arrow, very unlikely that Tiny dies anyways. So I think that really makes this Mirana pick look bad. You know, Mirana looks good when you have that Storm or DK in the mid lane that can actually get into the enemy mid. This tanky hero in the mid lane and the range carry for Ravens just makes most of these early moves kind of useless for Dark Demon. They also have no stuns in the safe lane, so even in that lane, you're not gonna see this Mirana being impactful. Usually, when you see these Division 1 teams drafting Mirana, you have like a Wraith King in the safe lane. You have like a Crystal Maiden, something where the Mirana can rotate in all 3 lanes. And it feels like they just wanted to draft the Mirana DK, but they didn't really enable Mirana anywhere else.
Yep, do I have to concur. It is still one of his favorite heroes, but in this case, they don't have the greatest setups. DK pretty much has to do it nearly every single time. Of course, you did mention the Aether Remnant, but right now, Void Spirit, he doesn't want to rotate. He just wants to be able to get some decent farm so that there would be a position where he could get some side lane ganks. I mean, the Timbersaw bottom lane is going to be rough to kill. Top lane, I guess the Razor is doable, but they have 3 very tanky cores on the side of the Ravens.
Yeah. Overall, I think Ravens adapted really well. And I don't know. I feel like the TA, can grow. But this is a game where it's kind of like Ravens to lose, I would say. Because there's no early momentum coming from any of the heroes. I guess the Void Spirit, if he gets some lucky runes. Let's see how the rune fight's going to go. No, picks one. Nice. Oh, the Zeus! He missed it.
Doesn't get the heavenly jump over the edge, and it is going to be first blood 6 minutes in. This is SA Dota, by the way, Division 2. 6 minutes in, first blood. Okay.
But that's the dream scenario for this Void Spirit. He actually denies the rune and gets first blood. I felt like he was going to struggle a little bit because his CS against the Tiny is also not great. But now he gets all of that extra gold. He gets a free wave, no pressure from the tower. This might actually mitigate a lot of the struggles that the Dreamers would have if all of those things didn't happen.
How's the TA handling himself in the bottom lane? Bench is level 6. He's got Chakram, so right now you get rid of the refraction charges very quickly. And it becomes a lot more dangerous for the TA to be in the lane. If there's pretty much a +1 rotating towards the bottom lane, TA can easily die.
Mm-hmm. Very nice, art form here in the bottom side of the map. This is beautiful drawing.
Yes, his chin is on the tree.
his nose slash. Wow, that is.
It looks haunting.
Yeah.
Like his teeth, he has like a massive underbite.
Oh God.
Don't hate us.
You know what? I'm actually surprised that we didn't get. I guess maybe Valve vetoes those ones, but like, could you have a spray that is an actual ad? So like, I'm sponsored by Bowie corporations, and then I have a team.
I think they probably
can you do it?
Most of those. I don't know the necessary rules. I know like a bunch of them have been rejected for obvious reasons.
I heard that.
Well, some of them getting rejected for also unobvious reasons, but it's their company. They can decide whatever they want.
No, that's true. I want to read the guidelines now, because I guess if no one did that, it's probably because it's in the guidelines that you can't have an ad.
I mean, how would that be with like Bet Boom, which technically is like their entire team is an ad?
Yeah. I guess that's the only way you can do it, right? Like TSM, like literally all their sprays. Maybe that was part of the deal. Like, you're gonna have all the sprays being ads for us.
Yeah, I don't think they'll allow it where you're like, oh yeah, let's put up Razer or Red Bull, or while we're at it, Cyberscore.live. Don't forget to check that one out as well if you're interested about the scores in these matches. They've got all the statistics you want for all the betting degenerates out there, including what teams are better at first and kills, how many Roches they take, how long the games normally last for the team. So don't forget to check it out.
Okay, thank you very much. And what else can I find there?
Well, you can of course see all the matches. You can see the current live scores of those matches that are being played, the schedule for the foreseeable future, go back in the past. They've got plenty of different tools for you to check out and use it to your advantage.
I actually want to check the odds for this game, because I do feel like a lot of people. I think it makes sense that Dreamers have the bigger odds, right?
I would assume so. Ravens have. I mean, if you look like right now on Cyberscore, you can see that Ravens have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins in a row in their last 8 series that they've played. They have not lost a single time, including the BTC Joy race, it seems, where they beat KBU US 3-0. They've just stomped everyone and everything.
Okay. Yeah, the odds are 253 to 1.48. Yeah, I mean that's pretty decent actually. I'll definitely go for. I'll definitely go for Ravens in this scenario. I not really discounting the Dreamers. I think they can dream quite a bit, but I do feel like Ravens is, especially like if we talk about captainship, just having Benjaz to me feels like a huge plus in Division 2, where everyone has talent in their team, but the shot calling is something that is much harder to acquire. Goes way past talent.
Yeah, definitely. Coaches and such are definitely also a very big plus for some of these teams. That's why I like the quickly gonna have to the Mad Kings lineup, because of course their position 5 used to be the coach of Beast Coast. I think last year.
Sure.
So he has some very interesting aspects in terms of their draft and their playstyle, which is refreshing.
I was actually checking the Dreamers Liquid right now, and they do have a coach registered. CRNG.
CRNG?
I had no idea about that.
Cringe?
Yeah.
His name
Yeah,
is actually
might be.
Cringe?
Yeah, I actually think that's what it means. Yeah, usually Division 2 teams, you don't see them having coaches. Even in other regions, I think it's kind of rare. Unless you're like Alliance, a super big org that somehow found yourself in Division 2. But usually, pretty big advantage, I would say.
And of course, Noping does not have a coach, I think, anymore.
Yeah, as far as I know, they don't.
No, they do not have a coach. Of course, their previous coach was the very infamous Astini.
Infamous, by the way, which is playing today. Nice segue. It's Infamous versus Wolf Team, right? That's a mega hype.
Gonna get to see some Parker versus HFN shenanigans. That's gonna be sick.
That's gonna be glorious, actually. Especially after that Biscos win, all of the odds are kind of thrown off a little bit. People expecting
Honestly,
Wolf Team to.
SA Division 1 is up for grabs for every team right now. It's so up in the air. They're like
Speaking of up in the air,
go.
DK actually was up in the air. Now he's dead.
There's Tiny coming in. He wants to toss some more up in the air. Can he get the reach? He is getting close. Tosses the tree. Void Spirit doesn't have any spells, but they're not going to dive in. And it is going to be a kill secured for the Ravens. Rotation did come through.
Interesting that this game, the Tiny goes for treads. Usually, almost always, you see brown boots or phase boots, but this game maybe he feels like having the tread switch to strength is a way to survive the Dragon Tail stun. Maybe he just feels like he wants to farm. But I feel like the phase would be pretty decent versus TA. Eventually, that the minus armor definitely starts hitting you, even if you have some extra armor from your ult. It did get nerfed a little bit in the latest patches as well. Oh, look at those stacks.
Yeah, that's some
baby.
Juice right there for the Ravens side. That's what the Bane has been doing the entire time, Kara. Sneakily stacking the jungle, and they will gain a lot of net worth. As you can see, their advantage jumped to 2k. They do spot it out, but it's a little bit too late to the party.
Nice.
Yeah, they'll at least find the Bane, maybe. Nice sidestep, but Kara, he's trying to be as much of a nuisance as possible. Has a magic stick as well. They're chasing him for quite some time. And eventually he will falter.
Okay. Now, one thing that I like a lot this game is that because this Dragon Knight had such a garbage lane, he is going straight up Blink Dagger. No upgraded boots, no Soul Ring, no nothing. Just straight up Blink. And I think this is going to be very important because he needs to contribute somehow. This tower is full HP at 10 minutes. They might actually take it now, but I feel like his impact this game is lacking, and the Blink Dagger might be the answer for them.
It's also not like it's going to become any better for the hero with the Timber Saw on the other side. You haven't even encountered the Timber Saw, but he rips right through a DK if he gets anywhere close. Speaking of getting close, in from behind, it's the Razor spawning out. Dark Demon gets the leap to the side. They're looking for more control of the Bane, but the Bane has the Fiend Script. Can he get it off? It's a little bit too far away. The DK, however, will still get taken down by the Razor, and a kill secured for the Ravens. And the DK will have to wait for his blink a little bit longer.
Radiant have fortified their structures.
Yeah, I mean, this is only a 2k gold advantage, but to me, this is such a big telling of how this game is going to unfold. Like, you have this solo Timber pushing tower by himself, and they defend top at the same time. So this TA that wants to accelerate, that wants to, I mean, that is accelerating a little bit. I feel like she is solo carrying against 3 cores on the Dire side. So, you know, that's if, you know, there's going to be some Parker cosplay here if this TA wins, because I feel like it's stacked against her already.
Yeah, Kuka is definitely a safe laner that is capable of turning a game around. The problem is that you don't have, except for the supports, of course, you don't have that easy 1-2 pounds to kill off the cores. They're just so incredibly tanky. Razor first item BKB. Tiny has his blink now done. The third one's a Timber Saw, so that is out of the question. Actually, okay, Void Spirit interestingly moving forward. I guess that was the call that the Dawnbreaker wanted to head that direction as well, but he does need to be careful now that Benjas has joined the fray. And the Dawnbreaker ulti has been used. Tossback comes in, and that is a big catch. Fiend Script immediately as well. Nothing they can do to save his life, and they will maybe not take down the Void Spirit. Backup support. No, Ben just jumps right in front of the 8th Remnant and will still find the huge kill to be secured onto Kuka.
Yeah, they definitely jumped the gun a little bit on the Dawnbreaker out there. They know how
again.
far behind they are. Oh, good arrow though. But, yeah.
It doesn't do much. The tower can hit him all the tower wants.
Oof. He doesn't even have a Moonlight Shadow this game because they understand they're lacking damage. They're lacking everything to team fight right now. And oh, there you go.
Didn't get tossed back this time around though. So that's a plus because he would probably be dead at that point. How do you stop this? Like, it feels like Ravens are just gonna walk out of this game. Like, finish it off, slowly crumble this Dreamers lineup. They can't really fight, and honestly, stop with the tossbacks, Nango. This is ridiculous. Looking for more, they get a catch.
There's Blink on DK, by the way, so he is joining in. Let's see if that is enough for them to... I think they have to ignore this Timber Saw. That's not the target you want. You really need to kill, you know, the Zeus or the Tiny.
Well, they're gonna go for the Tiny.
Damage.
Arrow gets dodged. Nice Nightmare from Gara coming through, but they will still lose the Tiny to find the Void Spirit in return. At least the Tiny dies, but that was a filthy good Nightmare save. You said they didn't have saves.
Well, no, the Nightmare can be a save when you're playing well, when you're playing from ahead, and that was very nicely played.
It wasn't safe.
It helped. He bought time. The Void Spirit probably died because of it. But, you know, I think what they really need to do now is use this catapult timing to take the top tower. That's how you allow the stage to keep forming the pattern she's doing right now in this triangle. And once the Desolator is up, there might be a chance, maybe with Thunder God's Wrath on cooldown, for them to force Roche. That's the only way this TA lineup comes back. You need the first Aegis, and then you need everyone to kind of catch back up a little bit with either fights or farm. But it looks like the Ravens, they don't want to give time for that. They smoke.
Heading out quickly. Bane is a little bit far away from his teammate, so he's waiting in a specific position for them to arrive. They don't spot out the smoke, but now the smoke v smoke gets broken. TA gets charged, Fiend's Grip immediately, but a good DK stun. Arrow comes flying in. They control up the Bane. He drops. Big heal bomb from the Dawnbreaker. Can they get the damage in? TA is done for. Can they continue forward? They need to disengage as much as they can, but the Void Spirit joins in the fray. They get rid of the 2 supports. However, the cores are so freaking tanky that it's going to be really rough to get anything more done on the side of the Dreamer. Still a 2-for-1, even though I mean, the problem is the one that you lost is your TA, and you cannot at all lose Cook-a-Hook at this stage of the game.
Yeah, it was a really weird fight because the DK stunned the Bane, but I'm not sure the TA felt like they had enough damage. She didn't like attack fast enough. It really felt like that Bane survived like 2 seconds more than he had to. And because of that, he was kind of out of position when the rest of Ravens connected. Pretty costly, you know, this TA hero. We already talked about how much solo carrying there's going to have to be coming from her. And 2 deaths doesn't really help with the timings that she needs to reach.
Oh, we'll catch Dark Demon out. That's his first death of the game, actually. Was 3-0-1, which is pretty neat. Almost done with the Spirit Vessel. Needs that definitely against the Timbersaw, because otherwise he'll just out-heal all the damage they would otherwise deal to him.
Yeah, just really nicely played defending the top tier 1 tower. I feel like they did a great job at that with Ravens. Now they're going to control this triangle because all of the tier 1s are back, are destroyed. So I don't know, I feel like they need to finish this dash on TA and they have to smoke immediately, or else this timing is going to feel less and less impactful. They're just getting eaten alive by this pressure that the Ravens are putting.
6k net worth lead in 17 minutes, even though they don't have that many more kills. It's just, it is so much easier for them to make those kills happen. So Ravens, they can farm a lot more of the map than their opponents, because, well, of course, if Tiny or any of their heroes get caught by a smoke gank from the Dreamers, where it's 4v1, they'll get the kill. Timbersaw might still be a little bit edgy, because he could possibly even still disengage. But for the most part, you need the entire lineup to be able to deal with them. And yeah, that's going to be a very obvious move every single time.
Yeah, especially with all the vision that, I mean, with few vision that there is coming from the Dreamers to actually make the moves that they need to. They do kind of regain control of the triangle at least, so that's good. We do see the top tower falling by the TA. So those are the first steps. Now, they shouldn't be picked off here. If they can, I mean, I would actually love to see them forcing Roche, knowing that Thunder God's Wrath is on cooldown. I know it's greedy, but I feel like this lineup's just gonna fall off. Like, this DK has no impact. He's a support right now. It really I didn't see, even after the blink, the Murata playing with the DK. And so it just feels like they have no moves. They're just farming against a team that's KO's way better than them.
Radiant should look
Well,
to
they
their
are.
middle tower.
Look at the Razor, dude. That's gonna be like maybe the fastest refresher I've seen in South America.
Yeah, that's a very fast refresh after the BKB, then AC, more armor for them, less for their opponents, which is definitely great. Oh my god, Zeus's Heavenly Jump is just stupid. Level 1, very, very fun to deal with. Void Spirit needs to disengage. Gets 4 staff back by the Dawnbreaker and will get out of harm's way, but all of his spells are on cooldown. Nice, Fiend's Grip. The heal comes up on top. The Bane will be interrupted. Smackdown, though.
Okay.
Bane is dead. Running through. Can Kuka get himself away?
2
Ben
seconds.
just chasing. TP. Yep. Should be able to disengage. No, the Zeus interrupts him with that lightning bolt. Just in the nick of time.
The Zeus hero, man, I told you, it's pretty bonkers.
Unless it's mid, then it sucks.
Unless it's mid, then it's actual garbage. It is. I mean, I know I'm joking a little bit, but I feel like it is much better as a support. Like this Heavenly Jump, dude. He gets 1 point and he feels like he's a little anti-mage. You know, it's just jumping around, so mobile.
for a hero that really should not have any mobility.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
mean, I personally find that it should not have mobility. It kind of reminds me of like a Skywrath, just pure magic damage.
Yeah.
And just stick
Imagine
to
if
just
this guy
pure
had that
magic
ability, right?
damage. Yeah, that would be broken. He already has a silence that lasts 6 seconds. Nice DP. They only managed to find the Bane though. That's 4 deaths so far for the Bane out of the 7 kills secured by the Dreamers.
Yeah. BKB's on cooldown, so maybe that's the timing here. I think.
Chasing. Can they get the catch? Razor would be a nice one. He doesn't have a BKB. Good stun. Arrow lands, and that's a huge kill. They will use the lose the Dawnbreaker in return, and they will lose 3 actually because Timbersaw and Tiny hit like a truck. But they actually get a hero that is not the Bane out of the picture.
No, that's actually pretty huge. It looks kind of bad because you lose everyone, but I feel like you need to abuse those cooldowns of the BKB. They can't sit in farm anymore, but they're pretty far behind, so that's why they lose so many players after the kill. The problem is there's refresher up for this Razor now, even after that death. So those cooldowns are going to be very hard to abuse now because he has 2 of those.
He now has the blink finished up, so they definitely have a possibility to blow someone out of existence, especially with the Void Spirit that has the Witchblade now. Except for Timber, I mean, he's got a freaking Heaven's Halberd finished up. He's just immortal.
Oof. Oh, the Thunder God's Wrath finds the TA. Do they have range for a Nightmare? They don't have vision anymore. Okay. I was gonna comment on the Groove Ball. So both carries actually ended up getting one. So very balanced, very even on both sides.
I wouldn't mind it if the TA went for an early shard this game. I think a shard, the silence, especially against like the Timbersaw, the Zeus, and the Bane are just really crucial.
Big fan of the shard this game. I totally agree. I feel like this 4-step timing that he is shooting for, it takes too long, and the pressure is definitely gonna come before that. But maybe he'll change his mind if they win this fight. We'll see what happens. Smoke on smoke. They do have everything on the side of Ravens besides the Zeus ulti.
Oh, they're running away. TA is alone. Does blink out before any shenanigans happen. Spots, of course, that the Timbersaw is mid, and that means that the rest of the team is most likely right behind. And now that they're counter-warding the smoke on smoke, there might be a surprise coming for them from the opposite direction. However, the supports are pretty much in a nice little triangle of cores.
Yeah, this is bad. The positioning that this is bad for Dreamers. Really nicely done for Ravens. They get the high ground, and now Dreamers has to like walk around. They lost a lot of creep waves that just died to towers. The TA was also not farming because she was kind of stuck in between top and mid. Yeah, they're just choking Dreamers really well right now. Okay. I don't even think they have more smokes on the Dreamers side, right? I think they burned for all. Yeah, doesn't feel like they have anymore.
Yeah, I can't seem to find any either. Bottom lane, Void Spirits. Gotta be careful. Bane does not have the Aether Lens, luckily enough. Still a very poor Bane. Unbreaker's going for the Ags, so big fat healing might help in the team fights, but the problem is they have a ton of burst. With that Timbersaw going absolutely nuts, going for the Blink Dagger. I really love the Blink Dagger build on Timbersaws. Seen that a lot more lately. And it just is so hyper aggressive and hard to deal with 2 mobility tools.
Yeah, I mean when you upgrade the blink, like so much extra burst damage coming from Timber. I like it too. Especially in a game that you're snowballing like this. It feels like you can actually, you don't use Timber Chain for the mobility, and thus you actually do more damage once you get on top of people. It's really good.
Nice little spray there. It's sleepy time for the Dreamers right now. Time to go to bed, boys.
So this DK, he's been split pushing a lot, trying to recover. I just I don't kind of really get the point. I feel like you don't come back as an offlane DK this game. Even if you get more gold, it means that Ravens is farming just as much or even more. So, and he's also taking farm away from the TA, the hero that should be kind of shining right now. So I have I'm second guessing some of the priority in farm on the side of the Radiant right now. But let's go. Fight's coming.
Oh, well, they are keeping... The Timbersaw is not the best target. The jump onto the supports, though, that's a big one for the Void Spirit. Can they get the kill? Bane is dead. Nice kill secured. DK will try immediately afterwards. But Benjas is actually dropping very low. They might kill off this Timbersaw. Finally, would be a very big kill if they can secure it. They're diving in deep for this kill, but Benjas still not dead. Void Spirit chasing down Benjas is gone. And their entire team is dead. And of course, chasing after the Timbersaw is not the best tactic to play for, as we can see. It is so deceitful how close you think you get to killing off a Timbersaw every single time. But at that stage, he is just like a Huskar. He turns out to be indestructible.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Sorry, misclick. Okay, Benjas. All right. Gotta hustle. Not gonna hold him accountable here. But you know, I agree. If that game was maybe 5,000 more even towards the Dreamers, I feel like they could have definitely taken that fight. It was really nicely played. They kind of baited until the Bane showed up, and the Void Spirit quickly identified his job in this fight. They killed the Bane before he was able to cast many more spells. The Dawnbreaker ult comes in. There was no eggs yet, but you could still feel the effect. But, you know, if they had just a little bit more damage, either the Timber or the Tiny dies, and I feel like they could have still kept fighting. But with the cooldowns resetting on Tiny, he just burst the TA. And as we talked about, even though this TA is like farming, there's the cores on the side of Ravens are so tanky. So much HP and armor. It feels like the TA is just not doing enough damage.
Yeah, it's definitely a rough one, as you said. If they just had that extra bit of damage, that fight could completely turn everything in favor of the Dreamers. It was just on a hairpin what they needed to get that burst going. Because it wasn't only Benjas. There were a multitude of enemies that were very low in HP that they just could not manage to finish off. And then they start, you know, picking their targets slightly problematically. Whereas the Timber was like, oh, he's the lowest, let's kill him quickly, and that doesn't happen, because of course he has a ton of HP, he has buttloads of armor, he's got the Heaven's Halberd, so he even has innate evasion behind him as well, he's got magic armor with the Hood of Defiance. The hero is deceivingly strong. I do have to say, you know, after that play, you can't fault a guy for trying to hustle on that one. Bad respect there. I mean, at that point, everyone would press the button.
Yeah, totally agree. Also, I feel like this Razor matchup also just... I'm just against this TA pick, honestly, because the TA, we were talking about lack of damage, and this TA has to go Hurricane Pike this game just because the refresher on the Razor is just so annoying to deal with. You really need to be able to keep your distance against Razor, and the damage is going to be lacking, obviously, because not only you're playing from behind, but you have to go for these other defensive items instead of like a Crystallis or even a BKB. So yeah, tough one. This DK and it feels like everyone just needs to farm items, and this game just kind of, it feels like a pub in a lot of ways, honestly.
Wait, what? What was he doing there? I didn't even realize that Miji was in the enemy's triangle, because I would never even think he'd be there.
I think he wanted to cut waves because there's Aegis, so he wanted to like stay in the triangle, cut, because he expects a lot of the dire vision to be on the Radiant side. And he was right, but I think he got scouted by that big jungle one as he walked towards the enemy triangle. That's why they knew he was there. Usually when you go for something like that, you would even maybe smoke with your support, so the support goes for the D ward and you go for the triangle. But they are out of smokes. They just overused them a little bit, didn't get a lot of value out of them.
By the way, I just want to say, if eventually Dreamers would win this, and they make the comeback happen. I'm gonna give it all to Demon the moment he finishes off the greatest item this patch has ever seen. The Wraith Pact, they're literally unkillable heroes at that point.
Okay, his
Ags
kind of close.
Dawnbreaker as well. They can survive a pretty decently long fight.
That evasion definitely stacks up. That evasion to me is actually like the better part of that Ags. The heal, you know, scale's okay, but 60% evasion in AoE is bonkers.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Always kind of a forgotten aspect of the Aghanim Scepter, of course. And the shard, once he finally gets it, it makes the hero actually be able to do something immediately after he drops. Otherwise, it's literally you get Avatos and you're dead.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I mean, we were talking about this carry Dawnbreaker, and I think you actually hit the nail on the head. I would much rather have the carry Dawnbreaker this game than the TA. I think it would actually deal with the Razor much better, and it would allow a faster tempo for their draft, so they wouldn't need to be farming as much as they are right now. We do see TA split pushing though. I think that's the move. You want to maybe force someone back, but the problem is they push very fast with that AC on Razor right now.
And shard on Timbersaw, Tiny with the tree. He doesn't actually have the shard yet. He has an Echo and a Moon shard, just for good measure. You know, he doesn't have to choose one or the other, just both.
Top tower is under attack.
Yeah.
TA does have a BKB finish, but the problem is they have Fiend's Grip and they have double static link. So it's not the end-all to finish this game off in your favor, because BKB is not superb. It's of course great against the other heroes, but you can definitely be controlled enough to really take you down. Su's also getting his Ags delivered, so now you've got more global presence coming up from the big bad bully.
Oh, speaking of bully,
DK on the run. Gets himself back. Constantly trying to get a catch, but can they even defend the high ground? 18k net worth deficit.
alright, they saved Glyph, and Aegis is 40 seconds on cooldown, so there's maybe a chance that they can delay this enough so that they take an advantageous fight, but they're just so farmed that I think this is gonna fall before the Aegis expires, actually. They really need to go right now if they want to hold this.
DK coming in from behind. He's going to say hi. Zeus ult gets used. Fiend's Grip onto the DK. At least keeps the Bane control. There's going to be the big fat heal. And the block comes through. They finally kill off the Bane, but they do lose the Void Spirit already. DK to the low ground, but he gets chopped by Benjus with the Blink Dagger. They're just going to finish this off easy, squeaky clean. Because the only one that they can ever manage to find is the Bane. He does have a BKB on the TA. Tries to turn it around onto the Razor. Buyback comes in. He's going to jump in highly aggressively, but he is down for the count. And that should be the G to the G. No re coming through. Yes, no, maybe. Still no? Come on, guys. Okay, there we have it. There is a moment when you have to throw in the towel, and that is right now. This is the first game that Dreamers have lost in Division 2 DPC this season.
Yeah, I mean, as we talked about, they did play the two teams that were in the bottom, so kind of expected. I feel like this result was kind of expected. I didn't expect such a dominant performance by Ravens, but I also think their draft on the side of Dreamers was just not set up for success. Everyone kind of lost their lanes. They made these huge stacks on the side of Ravens that were never contested. Really felt like they just defaulted to like, all right, we're behind, let's just farm our items, guys. And you know, against a team like Ravens, that's not gonna work. So they have to go back to the drawing board. I think they need better lanes, and you know, I think he played a good Mirana, but I think they have a really good response to the DK Mirana opener. I want to see them trying something different.
Yeah, definitely agree. The Mirana, I mean, he did a good job, especially in the early game, but they just countered it by making the lanes unkillable to that degree. Yeah. Especially that Timbersaw last pick off lane that was just destroying the Dreamers side. They pick up the TA to sort of have a bit of a decent lane against the Timbersaw, but eventually they were just massively lacking in damage. TA needs a lot more farm to be able to contest them. The Razor was just a hard counter for the TA, obviously. And it was a snowball out of control. It wasn't like... It just gradually kept dropping for the Dreamers side until eventually they fell off a cliff and they were too far gone to be able to recover. But the Ravens, they look very dominant. Like, not a single moment in this game did I really think that they were in trouble.
Yeah, I would say that I don't think they made any big mistakes this entire game. They were super patient. They controlled triangle really well. They went for stacks when they needed to. They farmed when they needed to. But they also just turned up the aggression 0 to 100 really fast when it was necessary. The Razor, there were a couple fights he was farming. But once he got that BKB, he was always like the first point of contact. Besides, when the Timbersaw was going ham. I just feel like they played really well. They're going to need a much better draft on side of Dreamers because, this Ravens team, they barely made it to Division 1 last tour and feels like they are in a trajectory towards that right now. They look crisp.
Yep, they definitely look very solid. But before game 2 starts, we'll go towards a short little break. We'll be right back for game number 2 after the break.